You people contribute nothing to this town. You don't pay for any water or utilities or dump or electricity or rent or any housing whatsoever, and you contribute nothing. You stay here for free, and then you come into town and you work, and then you come back out and live for free on the land. Because if I wouldn't have known those laws, that guy probably would have walked all over me. So this is what happens, dude, when you take a road that you probably shouldn't have. I kind of underestimated this one, but I lost the turnbuckle. You guys want to go on a balloon ride? Well, hello again. I'm just here hanging out at the lake. I've been parking my camper here every once in a while. It's a lot more peaceful here than the city park, and today they've got something going on at the park, some sort of super long race or something, and it's super crowded. My diesel heater went out again, and so I had to find somewhere where I could take it apart, not surrounded by a whole ton of people. There was like some kid's birthday party set up right in front of my truck camper. It was like a whole thing. So I decided to come here to the lake instead. And there is a nice breeze. Usually when I say that it's super windy, these microphones don't even pick it up. So hopefully you guys can hear what I'm saying. And I am walking directly into the sun right now, but I'm taking a walk around the lake, dude. It's super pretty, absolutely gorgeous walk around here. It looks like in just a few minutes here, we'll both be able to get out of the sun and this video will look a little bit better. So that's like the third or fourth. I think it's the fourth time I've had to do that diesel heater this year. And this time it actually was the glow plug. It never has been before. And so I actually was kind of grateful because like I carry spare glow plugs for the diesel heater, and I was like, well, that's cool. I got a glow plug that did last like an entire year. That's pretty good for these cheap Chinese diesel heaters, so it wasn't really all that bad. Anyway, if I look tired, it's because I am. I had to work this morning for the balloon company, and I've also been doing some shuttling for the rope swing company, which is pretty sweet. Just getting paid to off-road, dude. I love this rope swing job so much. Look at that. We're about to like do some, and it's part of the route. It's sweet, but we're about to do a little bit of rock crawling. Oh boy, this is so much fun, dude. I almost jumped off just yesterday, but we were super busy, and it would have ended up where like one of the owners would have had to shuttle some of the people back. And I just told him like, it's a Saturday. I can just jump off of this thing on like a Tuesday. I'm in no hurry. But yeah, I'm probably gonna jump that. And I did throw a couple clips of other people getting thrown off the cliff and whatnot in my shorts on like Instagram and Facebook.
Happy birthday!
I'll definitely make sure when I jump the cliff that I'll put it in one of the upcoming videos. So something that was super cool that happened this morning though is I got to take my first hot air balloon ride here in Moab. I've been on a hot air balloon ride before, but not in Moab. And it was kind of a surprise because I showed up to work, set up the balloon, like we got it all lifted up in the air. And then Jimmy, the owner, was like, Jared, you want to hop in? And I was so stoked. You guys want to go on a balloon ride? And I had my tripod with me, and I had it set up already while we were setting up the balloon, because I was going to put it somewhere in like B-roll for one of these upcoming episodes. Probably this one, actually, because I'm making this, and like I was going to start it with like, you know, how I started my day at work. But it was super cool because I had my tripod with me, like just my portable one that extends into like a selfie stick that I'm using right now. And so I got to film the whole thing, the whole balloon ride. And that's going to be coming out here pretty soon. It might even be an entire episode. I'm not sure. I did just film it today. Probably don't have time to edit it. And I mean, this video is about something completely different. So I'm assuming it'll be the one that comes out right after this video. And then in other news, like they are sending me a new drone. It is getting shipped out literally on the day that this video is getting released. So when you see this video, just estimate some shipping time, and knowing my luck with this whole deal, estimate some complications as well. And then we'll have some drone shots coming up here in a few videos too. So super excited about that. Super stoked to have the drone again. But in the meantime, I had plans to make a walk and talk about something else completely different. But then a couple of things happened in the last couple of days. And so this is going to be more of an update video, which I honestly don't know if I've ever done one of those before. So I suppose we'll see how she goes. I suppose, where do I start? So I made a friend out here, a Vanlifer, and we've been hanging out. The first time we met was in the last video. We met over at, well, right here actually, at Ken's Lake, at that campground right back there. We hung out after I went up the waterfall and whatnot, lit a fire, and so every once in a while we kind of stay in the same area and hang out and shoot the breeze, if you will. And we were parked up at the rope spot that I like to stay at a lot, because obviously you've heard how I feel about some of the more popular spots on the other side of town, like Klondike and Peace Officer. I hate those spots, and I also try to reserve those spots for when it rains, because a lot of the other spots around here that I stay at are inaccessible when it rains, or if you're there already and it pours, it's super hard to get out because they get very muddy. So we were parked over at my rope spot that I love so much on the south side of town, and everything was fine. I had the day off, so we've been hanging out at that rope spot for the last, I think, 2 days. Well, 3 days if you include the other thing that I'm gonna tell you. But this exact particular campsite for 2 days. So yesterday I was uploading and like tagging the video, the last video that came out in the morning with some coffee, probably at like 10 in the morning. And I got this crazy loud knock on my door, and they yelled law enforcement. And at first I thought it was just a joke with like the super loud knock. You know, I thought maybe it was my friend, but then the law enforcement voice happened, and I was like, oh, all right. So I opened the door, and I don't remember what I said, probably something like hi or can I help you or whatever, but he did not look happy. I think the first thing that he asked me was, how long have you been at this spot? And I told him 2 days. This is my second day at this spot. And he just shook his head and kind of scoffed and looked at me again, and he said, how many days have you been at this spot? And I was like, 2 days I've been at this spot. This is my second day. So he holds up, you know, he takes his cell phone out and he holds it up to me, and he shows a picture of my rig at a different spot, but like in the roped off area. It might have been the same spot, but I've only stayed there once. But he's like, this is a picture of your rig here on the 13th. This was yesterday, which I think was like the 2nd or the 1st. So yeah, more than 14 days ago. I looked at him and was like, yeah, because I was here. And he said, well, you can't do that. You can't just stay here for more than 14 days. And I told him that I don't. I said, I have a job here in Moab. I work in town, and I frequent between this spot and then the other spot on the other side of town. And I pick and choose the days that I go between those spots based on the weather and whatnot. But I only stay in those spots on the days that I have to work. On the other days when I don't work, I run a YouTube channel and I am gone. I am at a completely different spot. I even told him the other day I was at like a paid campground, but right before that I was in Sago Canyon. Before that I was like stuck in a massive amount of rain at the other spot in town for like 5 days. But I just told him, I was like, I don't stay here for 14 days at a time. And he even corrected me on the law because I thought it was you couldn't stay more than 14 days in a 30-day period. But the law is that you can't stay in the same area for more than 14 days in a 28-day period. And then at the end of those 14 days, you have to move 30 miles away to the next spot, which is exactly the 2 areas on each side of town, which is why every single person that lives in a vehicle and works in Moab rotates the exact same way that I do, because it's a way to have a place to stay around town to be able to make it to work, basically. So I explained to him what I did and said that I haven't stayed there for more than 14 days. Thinking of that now, I did not bring this up, but I've thought of it later. Like, I literally have like dated like GPS, stamped video evidence of where I have been in the last month, showing that I haven't stayed there for 14 days because like of my YouTube videos and whatnot. But I did not think of that at the time. Obviously, it's just the way she goes. But here's where it got a little bit interesting. Because he told me, well, I should just stay at one spot for 14 days at a time and not go between spots. And I told him that that doesn't work for me because I can't stay at like this spot that you're here with me at for 14 days in a row, because if it rains, then there's a huge chance I won't be able to get out. And that's why I pick and choose between the 2 spots. It's based off of the weather. And I just asked him if that was breaking the law in any way. And he said no. And so I was like, okay, well, then what's the issue? And he's like, well, it's just really hard for me to track it then. And I said, well, either way, you're going to see me here again. You're going to have another photo to show me of my rig at some other spot, maybe even this exact same spot, within the next 14 days. So, and that's where he went. That's when he went on a huge tangent. And so I'm not going to express too many of my opinions about this. I suppose at first I'll just tell you what he said. Okay. After that, he just kind of looked at me and shook his head and then looked back up at me, obviously a little bit irritated would be the word. So he looked at me and he said, you guys need to figure your shit out, because I live in Moab and you people contribute nothing to this town. You don't pay for any water or utilities or dump or electricity or rent or any housing whatsoever, and you contribute nothing to society. You stay here for free, and then you come into town and you work, and then you come back out and live for free on the land. And all that we ask is that you abide by the 14-day limit. And that's all that I'm asking you to do. I could ask you to go get a house or like pay for a place to live. I'm not asking you to do that. I think that that would be a better situation, but like, that's obviously your choice. It's what you choose to do, but you can't do it this way. So I just paused for a second when he said that. Because in my opinion, the only opinion that I pretty much have about this that I'm going to talk about probably on this video anyway, you guys can definitely let me know all of your opinions in the comments section. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion for sure, but in my opinion, a lot of those things that he said, he's not wrong. Especially about like the rent, the utilities, pretty much those things. I feel like we do contribute to society. Obviously, there's a huge housing problem, like a housing shortage in Moab, especially an affordable housing problem. So there's hundreds of us scattered out all around here living in vehicles, and the town's kind of dependent on us for seasonal work because there are so many jobs available. I see them listed all the time, but they don't offer housing and they're only seasonal. So they need seasonal workers like us that are off grid that can live outside of town and then come work the job because the town's not big enough to fill all of the jobs that are available during season, which is like right now, starting right now. But anyway, I just kind of paused because at the end, again, he said, so you guys have to do something different. That doesn't work. And I said, well, is it breaking the law? Because the law is 14 days at either place, in either direction, within 30 miles, every 28 days. So, I mean, if it's not breaking the law, then like, I can't just, I'm not going to just like stay somewhere for 14 days in a row at a time because it's like your preference. I'm sorry, but like I have like a job, I have like responsibilities. He asked me like where I worked. I told him I work for a hot air balloon company and a rope swing company. I don't know if that made him all too happy. I've heard that the rope swing company had a couple of issues with BLM when they started, so I probably put a target right on my head with that one, but I did not know at the time. So my friend actually woke up and got out of the van. And the moment that happened, the BLM officer was completely super nice and kind of even apologetic. The whole tone changed. It was super weird. I don't know if it's because my friend is like way taller than me, or maybe I just have like that type of look on my face that's like, it just pisses people off. I don't really know. Maybe it's the beard, but like the tone completely changed. And the BLM officer, he kind of apologized. And he was like, look, I don't want to make you feel like you did anything wrong. And I was like, well, you're not. I know that I haven't done anything wrong. But like, I would like to figure out how this isn't going to just keep happening, because you're going to keep coming here. You're going to keep getting pictures of me on your phone. And so you're going to have to keep knocking on my door. And so I would like to, I like introduced myself, you know, obviously I gave him my ID and all of that. Like I was super compliant. I offered that to him. I offered any information that he wanted from me to try to like make friends, you know, because he lives in Moab. I technically almost kind of live in Moab, you know, and so we're in the same community, not according to him, but like, you know, so I wanted to make friends, make a connection, figure it out, like how can we make this work? How can we both coexist to where you don't have to knock on my door all the time and question me and waste your time and waste my time and have this entire argument all over again. But yeah, when my friend walked out, immediately the officer was like super nice and was super apologetic and was like, I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to like make you feel like you've done something wrong. Obviously now you're aware of the law. And I was like, you haven't. You've been super firm and stern about it for sure, but like I don't feel like I've done anything wrong. I've explained what I have done, and you've explained that I've abided by the law, so we should be good. And then he proceeded to kind of like talk his way out of it because he was about to leave until my friend walked out. And so then he was like, well, do you have any other questions for a BLM officer that I could help you out with, you know, things like that. But he was about to leave and not ask me any of that for sure. Anyway, it ended on like kind of a peaceful note, I suppose. No tickets were issued. Obviously, he now knows that I'm here. He knows my situation and what I do. My friend is not in that same situation. Yeah, that was my first knock in my truck camper. It's not my first knock that I've ever had, for sure, but it's my first knock that I've gotten in my truck camper. Yeah, and it's my first knock I've ever gotten on the channel. First knock I've ever gotten on BLM land as well. Definitely didn't expect a knock out there at all. Like I said, when I heard the banging, I thought it was just my friend messing with me. So I was surprised, to say the least. So yeah, that happened yesterday. And then 2 days before yesterday, me and my friend were hanging out at that spot, and one of my flights got canceled. It's a spot that I've shown you guys. I walked up to a spot and did like a walk and talk hike up like a super huge cliff in that roped off area, and showed you the view of like where you can see like all of Moab. And so I didn't have to work the next day, and my friend has a van, I have a truck camper. It was kind of packed down there in that area. And so we decided, like, let's just drive up that mountain and see if maybe no one's up there and we'll get that beautiful cliff view of all of Moab. And I said that the road's fine because I've walked that road twice. I've hiked that hike twice. One time was with you guys, and the other time was before that when I found that area. So I said that it was fine. The road's fine. And sorry, I had to duck down behind these trees. The sun's getting a little bit intense here, and I've been directly in it this whole time. I'm pretty much halfway right now, so I still have to go halfway in whatever direction I want to get back to my camper and out of the sun. So yeah, me and my friend, we decided to go up to the top of that crazy cliff up there, and I said that the road is fine. That's definitely on me, and I've walked that road twice. I walked it once with you guys, and then I walked it another time before that, just for my nightly walk. So we proceeded to drive up that steep cliffside road, and the road was not fine. In fact, it was horrible. It was very, very, very steep, and there's even one part of it that is like falling apart that I'm pretty sure I even drove over, because it got to the point where it was so steep that like I couldn't see because the hood of my truck was facing so high up that it was blocking pretty much the entire road. So I just kept my momentum, because you're basically on like the edge of a cliff. The road is on the edge of a cliff. It's just an instant drop down on the other side. And it's not like I could just back down. And I couldn't see. And the road was horrible. It was very, very bumpy. But I just kept going. When I got to the top of that area, it was very bad. Both of my turnbuckles had fallen off. The camper had slid way back. Everything in the camper, like all the drawers and everything opened, which like those drawers are like locking, so they broke some of the locks. This is what happens, dude, when you take a road that you probably shouldn't have. I kind of underestimated this one, but yeah, everything is completely strewn around. I mean, that was on my bed. Thankfully, it's not broken. And I lost the turnbuckle. I actually lost two. When I got up to the beginning of like the entrance of this spot over there, I got out and looked, and like that one had come off as well, and I just kind of slid it back on. Obviously I'm gonna put them both back on and tighten them, but like, yeah. No one else is up here though, and we're right on a cliff, and up there there's just a beautiful view of all of Moab, dude, and the entire valley, a little bit of arches. So beautiful spot. My bathroom door won't open all the way. Or sorry, my bathroom door won't shut. My bathroom door won't shut sometimes. I have to like push it up. So there was like some major movement that went on with my truck camper, and that was a huge mistake, and I regret it. And I don't know if it'll ever be the same, to be honest. When we get back here from the lake, I'll show you just a little bit of the damage. So yeah, I don't know that this truck camper will ever be the same, to be honest. I don't know if there's any extensive damage that happened. I don't feel like it's the steepest road that I've ever driven up either. I've been in that situation 3 other times that I can think of, and it seemed like those roads were a lot less steep. Maybe it's driver error. I clearly could have gone a little bit slower. I tried to keep my momentum, just because the rocks were super loose. But yeah, when we get back to the camper, I will show you just a couple of things that I have issues with. Both of my drawers, they're broken. They don't stay in now, so I'll have to fix that. My turnbuckle pulled out a little bit of the camper. I don't think it's like too crazy bad, but it also is bad. I'm not going to be keeping this camper forever, so it's a lesson learned for sure. Obviously I tightened my turnbuckles up, and I did not film a lot of this, so I am showing you right now what I did film. Again, I wasn't out there making a YouTube video. I was just living my life, which sometimes ends up on YouTube 90% of the time, but like I wasn't planning on filming. I was just planning on having a sweet night out on that spot overlooking Moab with my friend. It's the same thing with the BLM officer. I didn't film that. I wasn't in the mood to get, who knows what would have happened if I started filming based off of his clear annoyance with the situation already. And then yeah, I'm just here to tell you the story. So I suppose, what have I learned? A lot, for sure, about driving my truck camper. This is like my house. It's the only thing that I have, really, and that was really just a stupid decision, or just poor judgment on my part. The thing is like I'd walked the road twice. The second time I wasn't paying attention to it as much because I was talking to you guys. But the first time I was definitely paying attention to it because I was looking for a spot that my truck camper could get to. Definitely unfortunate. Definitely a mistake that was made. As far as like the BLM guy, I've said this before in another video. I don't remember what the name of the video was, but I think the thumbnail actually says like the times I got the knock, or like I also talked about some of the scariest times that I've had living on the road. But I go over the 2 other times that I have gotten the knock, and I suppose what I've learned from this is pretty much just kind of I didn't really learn much. It just backs up the exact same thing that I talked about in that other video when I got a knock from a guy in Portland. Sometimes when you're getting these knocks from people, it really helps to know the law and it helps to know your rights and just basic things like that. But especially as someone who lives in a vehicle, and I'm sure it's common sense, but if you haven't thought of it yet, if you live in just like one area in a vehicle, like you're not like a nomad, it really is good to know those laws in that specific area, like me, for the whole area here in Moab. Because if I wouldn't have known those laws, like, that guy probably would have walked all over me. But that was one of the first things that I looked up when I got into town to try to figure out how to coordinate this whole living in a truck camper and living in Moab, where you're not allowed to park at all in the city of Moab and stay overnight. So yeah, that's a lesson that everybody should learn, is if you're ever going to be putting yourself in a similar situation to me somewhere, definitely know your laws. We've come to the river crossing part. I'll show you that. It's kind of fun. The only way to like actually walk around this lake that I know of anyway, unless you want to go like a super long way through the campground or whatever, but there's a little stream crossing here, and it's really pretty. I'm gonna walk across right there. But yeah, this actually is from that waterfall that I took you guys to. So it just goes right down there to the reservoir right there. So pretty neat little area just to hang out in. And the waterfall's somewhere up there. I think the trees are blocking it, but just gonna try not to slip here. It's a little bit deeper than the last time that I came here. So I am gonna get a little wet, which is fine. Oh, that felt great, actually, after walking in the sun. Yay, river crossing. They've also got toilets, like pit toilets here, and trash. So definitely a nice spot to hang out. They have seating over there, like covered seating and like a grill. And right behind there that's actually the reserve only part of the campground that I did not stay at. And that looks horrible compared to like where I was, which was like over there, right next to the river. But yeah, I wonder why they chose to do it that way. That seems kind of funny. Anyway, we've officially made it around the lake. There's the campground. This is the front of the lake. Just a couple people here. Eventually, I would like to do what those people are doing over there and just camp on the shore. I mean, you can't camp here, so I guess I would hang out on the shore. But yeah, here we are coming back to the truck camper. And I'll show you just a little bit of the damage that I uncovered other than that clip that I showed you earlier. The first thing I'll show you here is like, and you can see it from the turnbuckle. See how close that is to the truck camper? And then I'm gonna walk to the other side here. And look at the gap. So the truck camper definitely slid this way. And so that happened. The next thing I'll show you, so this one is like completely undamaged and great. So these are the legs, like the leg stands, I suppose, for my truck camper. There's like some bolts that go in here, and the leg like is held up right here. And this is actually where I put my truck camper stands on if I want to take the camper off of the truck. And this is an old camper. It's a 1991 Starcraft. These are the ones that were made only with 3 legs. If you see here on the side of the camper, there's places for tie downs right here on this side. But when I bought this camper, I mean, there was a couple modifications that were done to it, but there were no legs on this side at all, or there was nowhere to put a tie down on this side. There was nowhere. So the previous owner was just strapping them to this. These started to like kind of bend, and I put some sealant in here because I didn't know if any wood was exposed, and I didn't want to cause any like water damage or anything. But now you can clearly see that it totally pulled the wood out right here. So this is bolted down pretty far back, and actually where the tie down is, I made it. I put a steel plate right here on the other side of this. So this is like literally pulling on a steel plate, but maybe for some reason, the way that happened, it definitely bent this super far down and definitely tore some of this. So I'm going to have to caulk that, and it probably is a little bit of water damage. It could be from the water heater that's right up here, even though I literally never use it. And then the similar thing happened here. The thing is this didn't pull any of the wood or anything. This just like made the gap that it was already bent from the way that the guy had designed it, and I am the one that bent it when I strapped it down before I had tie downs. But again, this is all held down by like a frame, like a huge steel plate on the other side of that connected to this that I put in. So yeah, not good. This camper, I knew this camper wasn't gonna last forever anyway, and I have beaten it up. I mean, I've taken it on a lot of super crazy roads, and I would say on pretty much almost every single one of those crazy roads, the destination has been 100% worth it. So this time is the one time that it definitely was not. It was not worth it at all. We could have just walked up there. It's not even that far of a walk. We didn't have to stay up there. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. I messed up, and I'll have to pay the consequences for that. I don't know if that's going to be sooner or later or what, but yeah, definitely regret that decision. So anyways, so I suppose that about wraps this one up, guys. Way she definitely goes, I suppose. So I guess since this has been an announcement video, the drone is getting shipped out on the day that this video comes out. So hopefully that means we can travel a little bit again to beautiful places and get some great drone footage, and everything will be back to normal. Thank you for bearing with me. I think probably only one more video without the drone, and then we'll be back rolling. Hot air balloon video coming up here pretty soon. Like I said, I was able to film all of that this morning. That was so exciting. It was such a blast, such a beautiful view, such a good time. And I tried to bring you guys along with me for as much as I could. And as far as like the job update goes, I was able to do like 2 shuttle runs this week, and I think 3 or 4 balloon flights, which like that would be like a perfect week. However, like tomorrow the flight is canceled because of weather, and then I think we maybe only have like 3 flights this week. So I'm hoping that I can get a couple more shuttles in for the rope swing company, even just like 2 shuttles a week plus the hot air balloon, and I'm right where I need to be. We're good to go. But as you could tell from this video, I'm gonna have to do a couple truck camper repairs probably, and times are still a little bit tough. So if you did make it this far in the video, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And it also helps support the channel. And we could use a little of that right now. And keep on living that dream. And if you haven't found that dream yet, don't stop looking for it, because you never know where it might be. You might even find that it's living out of an old 1991 Starcraft truck camper, taking it on all kinds of horrible roads, and having so many amazing, beautiful views and experiences to show for it, and loving every minute of it. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. I'm on my way back to my spot for the night from the lake, but I just wanted to show you this, guys. Look at that view. That is how you end a day where you have to talk about a couple problems. See you in the next one.